Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about Automobilista 2, obviously from the look of the title. And AMS2 has been one of my favourite games for a substantial amount of time. It was one of those games that I just installed and I didn't know much about it at the time until one of my friends put me onto it, and they were really happy with where the game was at and they thought it was just a great sim, and they said, you know, give it a go and see what you think. So I downloaded it, installed it. I liked it on day one. There was a few things that I wasn't 100% sure about with it, especially the force feedback needed some work. There was a few little bits and pieces about it, like the cars felt a little bit understeery and a little bit not very direct with the steering as well. The tyre model wasn't that great at the time, and this was like, I would say probably about 2 years ago, and ever since that time, Razer, the company that actually builds the game or develops the game, has done an absolute cracking job of this game. Like, I've never seen a game with so many updates, so many new features, and just content that comes up so often. And they're just always bringing out new things to improve the game and make it better. And it's been a massive improvement. And the game now, as it stands today, is pretty amazing. It really is amazing. It's one of my favourite sims, one of my go-to sims. It runs great on just about any computer. Yeah, and I'm going to break it down today. So let's get into it. So I thought we'd start off on the graphics. Now, the graphics for me in AMS2, as you can see right now, what you're looking at, are pretty damn good, to be honest. And it's amazing how well this game runs and looks, because it is one of the smoothest running games and one of the easiest games to run that I've seen, compared to, like, for a relatively new game. It's so polished and it's so smooth and it's so free flowing, and the driving is just so easy that it just feels great. And it is just one of those games that even if you have a mediocre PC, you will more than likely still be able to play it. And the game is not like, it's not like an iRacing or an Assetto Corsa where it's like 14 years old. I don't know how old this game is, but it's definitely not that old, and like, it's only, I don't know, maybe 6 years, 7 years old. But for its time, it is a polished game. And when we get games these days that come out and they're rough around the edges and we have to wait forever for them to be in beta, and they just, you know, they don't run very well. There's a lot of optimization that needs to happen. AMS1 was great. Project Cars 2 was pretty good, and then when this game came out, it seemed like more of the same from Project Cars, but this has got more polish again, I feel, and it's a bit more of a simulator than Project Cars 2. So yeah, awesome upgrades, and this game runs so good even in VR. Like, it is playable in VR. It is one of the best games for VR that you can play. It's so smooth, it's easy to run, you get good frames per second, and yeah, look, it really is awesome. It really is amazing. So yeah, for graphics, man, I would almost have to give it a 9 out of 10. The reason for the 9, the reason I didn't go to 10, is maybe because it seems a little cartoonish, and I'm not sure if it's like the contrast levels of it. Like, it just seems a little cartoony. You need to take some of the yellows out of it, and it's a very bright and vibrant game, which is not a bad thing, but it does look a little cartoonish. Might be something within the menus and stuff, but when you're driving, it doesn't even matter. It still looks real, feels real, and amazing. So alright, so let's move on to audio. Now, audio in this game is really good once again. I like, the cars sound great. Some sound a little bit lackluster, but to be honest, like, they all sound different. None of them sound the same. There's a whole range of different cars in this game, and because now they've started to get some licensing, but they didn't have licensing to start off with, so it was cars that were similar to the real world thing and look like it, but they don't have the official names. Now they've started to, because the game's so good, it's started to get those official names into the game, and they started to get the high profile companies to back it as well. So like that's the best way to do it. Razer's done a cracking job. They're smart about it. It's like, let's bring out a game that looks real, plays real, let's prove our worth, and then we'll draw in the people, instead of just throwing big manufacturers, having to fork out a heap of ton of money and then have to try and build a game quickly. So Razer, great job guys, fantastic. But yeah, the audio is amazing, it really is. It's really good. It maybe doesn't have the same sort of like Assetto Corsa Competizione, where you have like a lot of dirt noise, road noise, clangs, bangs, things like that happening underneath the car. You don't get too much of that. Nothing like Assetto Corsa Competizione, but that's sort of a game in itself. It really is a game in itself that does that. There's not too many other games that are like that. But other than that, and that brings up the immersion a little bit for for Competizione, but you don't need that, I feel. You don't need it. So it's still awesome. You get enough noise and 3D audio, all that type of stuff that sounds really good when cars are coming up beside you. Yeah, it's awesome. So good. Another big plus. So next on the list is gameplay. Now this is where this game absolutely crushes it as far as I'm concerned. The gameplay in this is awesome. It is so good. The cars are easy to drive. You jump in, you feel like you're connected. The gameplay, the AI in this game is amazing. It's one of the better AI games out there. People think that iRacing is the top, and I tend to agree. For AI, I know that R Factor 2 is pretty good as well for AI racing. Probably one of the better ones, R Factor, from what I've seen. But AMS2 is right up there. It's right up there. You can really create some great races, and especially with the gameplay, because you can create your own weather effects. You can do real-time weather, so whatever it is, wherever you're racing, you'll get the real-time weather, which is just ridiculous. Yeah, and if you want to go back in time to specific race days, you can create that race over again, and it will bring you the weather of what it was on that day, which is just, that's mind-blowing. And but the gameplay, it is one of the easiest games to sit in and just get driving and just play and just have fun and enjoy it. Fun is probably one of the best description of words of racing in this game. It's just fun. Like, sometimes sitting down and playing either iRacing or something like that, it's a bit stressful. You know, you're trying to look after your safety rating, and while there is a safety rating in this game, it's not so apparent. It doesn't really matter too much, and that can be a good and bad thing. But just the fact that you can just jump in, play, sit down, fly around corners, have fun, have competitive racing, and it's just smooth, and yeah, it's great. It really is good. So big thumbs up for that. So to touch on the force feedback. Now, the force feedback is one of probably the most controversial thing in this game, because it's had a bit of a rough upbringing from where it come from. There wasn't a very good time model to start off with when they first brought this game out. The cars were very slidey, very lofty. The force feedback was okay, but you just couldn't feel the tyres underneath the car, the weight transfers, that type of thing. And that has gotten a lot better, a lot better. And now it is night and day compared to what it was, to be honest. There's still some cars that feel a little lofty, and I think that's on purpose, because they're the older cars that don't have the amazing suspension and that type of thing to keep it on the ground. So you do get a little bit of that, and yeah, like it's just in some cars. But then when you jump in the proper cars, the GT3s, the LMPHs, the cars that grip the F1 cars, whatever it may be, like they grip, they drive like they should, and they feel really, really polished and really good. You start to feel the weight transfer, the tyre model. It's all good. It's all good from there now. So Razer have done a cracking job. They really have. And I think I heard that they just had a little bug in their system. Like the whole time it was set up relatively well. There was some bug that was stopping it from bringing the force feedback through properly. And once they flipped that switch and fixed that problem, it was like night and day. Like it was like transforming the whole game, and then the force feedback started working exactly how it should. So yeah, who knew? But amazing fix, guys, and it's been awesome ever since, and they're still bringing out updates all the time. And just a couple of small things that I want to mention about this game that are really positive, and also a couple of negatives as well. So a couple of the small things would be that the multiplayer races are a lot of fun. When you can get into a good race with clean drivers, it is very, very, very good fun, and the netcode is great. The netcode is probably one of the better netcodes that I've ever seen. It is nothing like some of the shockers in iRacing at times, and some of the other games I've seen that they've been pretty average on netcode, but this is one of the best games I've seen for netcode. So that's heaps of fun in the multiplayer. They've just added the pit crews into the game, so now when you pull into your pits you see the full pit crew. They do the work on the car and then drop you and get you back out. They didn't have that for a while, now they got that. They've brought in full course yellows, safety cars, even the lights on the side of the tracks now. So if you're flying down the track, you can see a yellow light flash. It means you're in a yellow. Then blue flags, all that are electronic, and they're on the side of the track, and they're active lifetime. That is amazing. That's so cool. Just adds to that immersion. So they're still bringing things out even to date for this game. And probably one of the best things that I like about this game is that you pay for it once. You get the items, you go and race, and you've got them there. It's not live service. It costs nothing like iRacing. And I just enjoy it because I can jump in any type of car. There's so many cars, it's ridiculous. So many tracks, it's ridiculous. You've got the Nürburgring, you got Le Mans, you've got all these tracks, and Brazilian tracks that you've never heard of. Bathurst, all of the favourites, they're all their brands, and so much fun. Donington, like they got pretty much all these type of tracks that some games do have and don't have. But there's just so much variety in this game that you'll never get tired of it. You'll always be trying new cars and new tracks and new combinations and seeing what works and what's amazing. And you just, like, it's even got rally dirt now, which I'm not a huge fan of. I still think it needs a bit of work in the physics section. But just the fact that you have that and they've brought that into this game, it's an all-round simulation, all-rounder. So let's get into the cons. What is not great about this game? To be honest, there's not a hell of a lot, but one thing I would say is that the multiplayer is probably the biggest thing, and it's been like this for a while. And the problem with the multiplayer is that there's not a lot of, like, I think a safety rating needs to come in, and it needs to be, like, you need to have a certain safety rating to get into some multiplayer races like ACC. They need to bring something like that in, and that's one of the biggest things. And they need to have a live service as such, like iRacing, or like Forza Motorsport, the new one, where have daily races, have things to get people involved and keep coming back to the game, because that would just crush it. That would absolutely crush it. Or even a single player career. Man, I would love a single player career in this game. Something with a bit of a story behind it. It would just be the best. And then that would make this game a 10 out of 10. An absolute 10 out of 10. Beef up the multiplayer, bring in a safety rating, make it more competitive, have events, That type of thing would absolutely blow this game out of the park for me. So outside of that, guys, all I want to say is this game is a must buy. If you love simulators and you love driving, you will love this game. It may not be as competitive, it may not be as serious as some of the other games that we do have at the moment, but that's what's fun about it. Is you jump in, have a race, enjoy it, and have fun. So I hope this review helped you guys. It's just an overview of it, but give it a go if you haven't already, because it is heaps of fun, and I think I'm going to jump in there and have another race right now. So peace out, you guys. Enjoy, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.